Hello, my name is Kevin Thompson. This is Beyond the Fundamentals, and the name of our video today is Your Body Has Its Own Brain. Some concepts are quite complex and they are difficult to grasp, though it gets easier with exercise. Then they're even more difficult to articulate to other people because they're not very intuitive sometimes, kind of like quantum physics. In this video, we're going to attempt to articulate a very helpful component of human cognition using the simple analogy that the human body has its own brain and that it is separate from how we typically conceive of the mind and the brain that's in our head. The information in this video is designed to help you start living a fuller life immediately by integrating the natural processes of your body into your cognition and daily interactions. There are some things about life, relationships, and reality that cannot be experienced, much less mastered, until the senses of the body have been thoroughly exercised and integrated. For Christians, this is mentioned in Hebrews chapter 5, verse 14. It says, strong meat belongs to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. Each individual functionally has two brains. We're going to call these the body brain and the mind brain. This is not a scientific explanation of physiology per se, but it is a very helpful functional and behavioral explanation. Okay. The mind brain is where we think we do all of our thinking. This is where our awareness usually resides. It's where we hold our opinions and our drives and our stated values. This brain could also be called the explicit brain. This is where opinions and actions are voluntarily, or at least we think they are, and where principles are meted out. And it's where intentional problem solving takes place. Now, conversely, the body brain is where the implicit occurs. This is involuntary, and we are usually close to 100% unconscious of what is occurring in this body brain. This brain has its own values, its own drives, and its own motivations. These values and drives and motivations are often completely the opposite of a person's stated or explicit values that they have in their mind brain. Most people, ignorantly and arrogantly, think that their mind brain is the one in control of their life. They think this is what's informing all their choices and actions and values. They think that their bodily systems may provide minute signals and influences that the mind brain can either consider or easily dismiss. However, the exact opposite is precisely and completely the case. The body brain operates with nearly complete autonomy, calling all the shots with regard to behavioral values and daily choices. This means that most people's actual drives and decisions are completely antithetical to their stated goals and preferences. This reality is very difficult for religious people who are quite often preoccupied with being perceived as virtuous. The stage 2 and stage 3 phases of many religions can actually effectively subdue the body brain's drives, values, and choices for a limited amount of time and circumstances. However, this only serves to deceive the individual and prolong and delay any chance that they might become emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature. The body brain will have its way until it is integrated and calibrated, and that task is much easier said than done. For this reason, it's very important that developing humans have the opportunity to learn from the consequences of their own decisions instead of from a religious paradigm's decisions. Give you an example of this. If a person is suffering from unhealed trauma from the way they were raised, their mind brain might explicitly state that they want a whole and mature person as a romantic partner. However, their body is still attracted to those who are suffering from similar unhealed trauma that they have. They will even be able to land a date with someone who matches their mind brain's checklist for a potential partner, but find that relational interaction with the person isn't stimulating It's not exciting, it's not attractive, it's not satisfying, and it's not desirable. And those who they find attractive and exciting are often the opposite of what they want in their mind brain. Knowing and understanding this doesn't change this. That's a very important part. That's why I have it highlighted there. It can be changed, but the trauma must be healed first. And these are processes, not just knowing and understanding. They take time. This is where many modern day Christians stumble. They think that knowing something and understanding something is the objective or the finish line. It is not. It's not even the starting line, though it is a necessary precursor to the starting line. The classic case of the shy boy stuttering when trying to talk to the cute girl at school is an example of a mismatch between the mind brain and the body brain. When people try to speak in public and they get a dry mouth, get out of breath, talk too fast, this is also the body brain having its say over and above the mind brain's wishes. When we encounter someone of the opposite sex, even in the most innocent of circumstances, our body brain is automatically evaluating that person's propensity for a relational encounter, and it prompts our behavior toward actions that negotiate for things like sexual opportunity or the exchange of useful resources. This is not a reflection of one's values, it's a reflection of the primate VR hardware suits that we inhabit. And while we should not let these impulses take over, we should also not morally stigmatize ourselves or each other for this reality. This fact is very essential for romantic partners to grasp very well. The drives and values of a person's body brain should not be interpreted as a willingness to engage in infidelity or disloyalty, nor should it provoke jealousy. I recently mentioned the body brain's drives with regard to this kind of interaction with the opposite sex, and a Christian who heard me doing this immediately responded with, "I don't try to do that." And that's exactly the self-deception that we're trying to help you avoid in this kind of video. Yes, I know your mind brain isn't trying to do that, but your body brain definitely is, and it's important to know about it so that you can calibrate it. The body brain is implicit, involuntary, and subconscious, and it has its own drives that have nothing to do with your conscious mind brain. The body brain wants what it wants, irrespective of what you think you want in your mind brain, with its own values, its own drives, its own impulses. That which attracts the body brain is often very, very different from any list of attraction aspects that you might list off with your mind brain. This is often why people catch themselves dating a series of people who turn out to be not in their best interest in the long run, and often even overtly against what the mind brain thinks it wants. And they do this with purchases and other things as well. The role of emotional intelligence comes into play here. We all like to think that our mind brain is in charge, but it's not. One of the roles of emotional intelligence is so that we can bring the body brain into the awareness of our mind brain. Bringing it into awareness is a necessary precondition to integrating it, calibrating it, and learning how to interpret its signals and messages. The body brain has much to tell us, but many of us cannot hear what it has to say due to ignorance, arrogance, and the complete phasing out of any consideration of the body brain due to ideological and cultural compartmentalization. And that brings us to the Iowa gambling task. The Iowa gambling task helps us understand the difference between the mind brain and the body brain. The Iowa gambling task was designed to study decision making and risk assessment. Participants are given 4 decks of cards and asked to draw cards exclusively. Uh, they're asked to draw cards to maximize their monetary rewards. Some decks are advantageous, providing small but consistent rewards, while others are disadvantageous, offering larger immediate rewards but leading to significant long-term losses. So the key findings of this is that is with implicit learning. Participants often begin to unconsciously avoid the disadvantageous decks after a few trials, even before they can explicitly explain why. And that's a key point that I want to focus in on, even before they explain why. When I've heard scientists talk about this, they say that when the dealer's hand would hover over the deck, the body would start to exhibit all kinds of physiological stress responses, even after just 10 deals, while the explicit mind didn't know about this, couldn't articulate it, couldn't explicitly explain why until many deals later, like 75 to 80 deals later. And this is always going on when you are interacting with people. Your body knows things that your mind brain doesn't know yet. So it's important to learn how to start listening to what our body has to say. One of the primary goals of cognitive science is to identify and ameliorate the processes by which we tend to consistently mislead and deceive ourselves. One model of cognition is called 4E cognition. Many cognitive scientists have since added aspects beyond the original four, but it's still a good framework, if not complete, to help explain and understand how cognition occurs in humans. The very first of the 4Es is embodied cognition. Embodied cognition, this dimension emphasizes the role of the body and its interactions with the environment in shaping cognition. It recognizes that cognitive processes are not solely happening in the brain, but are also influenced by the body's interactions and experiences in the world, including the rest of the body as well. So we here at Beyond the Fundamentals, we highly recommend that everyone becomes familiar with 4E cognition and spend time considering its implications. A Google search will show several good results to quickly learn the basics of 4E cognition. Dr. John Vervaeke, he's a cognitive science professor at the University of Toronto. He's been on this channel, he's been a guest on this channel, and his work is highly recommended. One cannot know other people or their environment, much less a concept as enormous as God, or have meaning in their life unless they are also highly self aware. This includes somatic awareness, or awareness of one's body, its functions, its information, and the signals that it sends our way. And when I say information, I'm not just talking about data. I'm talking about how culture and society have formed the mind to work. Think of information. Visualizing the concept that your body functionally has its own brain and cognition, along with its own values, its own beliefs, its own worldview, is essential to begin the process of moving into an integrated whole of a person. Knowing and understanding this reality is not the end, it is the beginning. From here, only consistent practice can bring a person to maturity in this arena. And these practices are things that we highly recommend and talk people through on the channel. Doing the work to unify the body brain with the mind brain will not only pay huge dividends in all aspects of life, but it is a non-negotiable way for anybody who takes life seriously. It's a non-negotiable for anyone who takes life seriously. On our channel, we offer paid one-on-one consultations. If you would like to have a one-on-one consultation to discuss this topic or any of our many other topics, mainly from our growth and transformation series, then you can get there by going to our homepage at www.beyondthefundamentals.com, and you can book a one-on-one consultation there. So that concludes our video for today. If you want to support the channel financially, you can. We have this QR code will take you to our donation page at beyondthefundamentals.com. If you want to see more content like this, highly encourage you to do that. And until next time, thanks for watching. May the Lord bless you and good day.